We welcome you to historic downtown Dahlonega in what is the 21st matchup between the North Georgia Nighthawks and Flagler College in men's soccer action today. It is an absolutely gorgeous day here in Dahlonega. A lot of festivities going on in the downtown area. The annual Gold Rush festivities are going on down there, and traffic and a lot of people are not only in Dahlonega, but here at the UNG soccer field at Linden Cottrell Park in what is set for a really good Peach Belt Conference matchup. And if you take a look at the Peach Belt Conference standings, North Georgia and Flagler are right next to each other. As North Georgia sitting third in the Peach Belt with a 4-2-2 record, and Flagler sitting fourth with a 3-3-2 record. So whoever wins this one will either stay put or will improve their Peach Belt record and possibly move up into the standings. So I want to welcome you up to the broadcast booth, Devin Kupka. I'll be on the call for this 21st matchup between these two schools in men's soccer, and glad to be a part of it today. North Georgia looking to pick up their first win against Flagler in men's soccer action for the first time since 2019. And we are now underway here in Dahlonega. Whistle called early. It's going to be a throw-in for Flagler. It's going to be thrown in right around midfield. Santiago Cano heads this one out of bounds. It's going to be a throw-in. It's going to be met by a couple Nighthawks and Flagler players. North Georgia coming off a big-time win against Clayton State, number 16 nationally ranked team in the nation on Wednesday night, picking up a 2-1 win over Clayton State. North Georgia looking to capitalize on that win and improve their win total in the Peach Belt this year and their overall win total as well. That kick by Aram Laura. Kick in! Goal number one of the day goes in for North Georgia. And it looks like a player's down on the turf as North Georgia got their first goal. Can't quite see who the player is. But there's a North Georgia player down on the field. Athletic trainers are going out there to check up on the injured Nighthawk. And we're going to take you to commercial break.
Considering a career change? Ready to lead in healthcare? Be a nurse in 15 months with our accelerated Bachelor's of Nursing track. Learn more at ung.edu/ABSN.
I'm here!
You've got a lot of reasons to be here.
I'm here.
That's why we're here at Georgia Heart Institute. where advanced heart attack treatment protocols are saving more hearts than anywhere else in the state. That's why we're here.
I'm here.
So you'll always be there. The future of heart care, we're leading Georgia there. Georgia Heart Institute.
Back with you here in Dahlonega. Looked like it was Michael Walsh, the Nighthawk, on the ground.
Is North Georgia 1, Flagler 0.
And that was a Michael Walsh goal, and Aram Laura was on the help there for North Georgia. As North Georgia gets their first goal in this matchup, not even 3 minutes into this one. This one on the far side of the field is going to roll out of bounds. Thrown in, immediately going to be met by a Flagler player. It's headed over in the direction of Max Garnett. Now Tyler Vitelli on the attack for North Georgia. Nighthawks going to get tripped up on the far side of the field. Aram Laura on the far side. Getting and kicking this one into the box. Immediately met by, looks like Max Gottwald for Flagler. Whistle called inside the box. Elwin Asiedu on the block for North Georgia, as now it moves back into Saints territory. Pass over to Laura. Back over to Paige Sinclair. Alejandro De Viena gets this one to Asiedu. Asiedu now over to right. Back over to Laura. Asiedu kicking this one deep towards midfield. It's going to be met by Marcus Hedgeman. Laura battling it out with Mark Birkland. Now over to Marcus. And Harrison Wright with the kick out of bounds for North Georgia. Throw in for Flagler, inside the box for the first time all game for Flagler. And that one's going to get kicked out immediately, where now it's going to end up into the feet of Camilo Vera. Ball nearly goes out of bounds on the far side of the field, back into the feet of Flagler. Liam Fish. Now it's going to be in Harrison Wright's hands. Wright immediately was met by Saint Head, but now it's back over to Wright at midfield. Wright passes this one down deep where Tyler Vitelli's on the charge for North Georgia. Vitelli trying to work some magic in the near side corner. And that one just goes right out of bounds. Kick in. Elwin Osiedu was over there, but just went left of him inside the box as now the ball moves towards midfield. Daviana kicking this one deep towards inside the box. Osiedu over here for North Georgia. Mattia Balzano passing this one to Laura. Now over to the middle of the box. Back over to Balzano. And that one just went over the crossbar, and it was behind the net, not the back of the net. And there is a Flagler player down at midfield. Just rolling down on the turf. Trainers haven't been called out yet. Liam Fish was the Saint player down on the turf, gets back up, and play resumes. Ball was headed by Michael Walsh near the inside of the box. Flagler trying to answer back to North Georgia's goal. Elwin Osiedu on the charge for North Georgia. Prevents a goal attempt by Flagler. So now Hazelay going to kick this one for North Georgia. Lay going to kick this one in the direction of Max Garnett. Now over to Mattia Balzano. Pass over to Paige Sinclair. Inside the box now. North Georgia trying to make something happen again. And that one just rolls right out of bounds. Ryan Rivas, the goalkeeper for Flagler, sending this one deep into North Georgia territory. Paige Sinclair, right over where the whistle was called. Looks like Flagler is going to keep possession. Marcus Hedeman. Like this could be a goal kick for Eddie Mann, looking for his 5th goal of the season. That one's going to get inside the box, but is immediately going to be headed by, it looks like, Harrison Wright inside the box for North Georgia. Hazelay kicking this one to Osiedu. Osiedu kicking this one over into midfield where it's met by the head of Tyler Vitelli. Camila Vera passing this one back into North Georgia territory where it's going to bounce out of bounds. Liam Fish throws it in. Hedeman. 34 minutes left to go in the first half. North Georgia up 1-0 over Flagler. Heading going for a goal kick. He's going to end up passing this one to Mark Birkland. Headingman is going to be met by a Nighthawk player pretty much immediately. Looked like to be Tyler Vitelli that met Hedeman. That one going to be tossed right back in where it's going to be caught by Hazel Lay. Lay kicking this one deep past midfield over towards Tyler Vitelli. Whistles are called. Whistles were called in the direction of Luke Williams of Flagler. Looks like it's going to go against North Georgia. Jackson Carilla on the kick for Flagler. And that one is going to go just over the top of the crossbar. And Flagler misses yet another goal opportunity. So it's going to be a quarter kick for Flagler. It's going to be headed by Jackson Carilla. And now Tyler Vitelli on the counterattack for North Georgia. Vitelli bouncing off Carilla. Vitelli passes blocked. Now it's back over to Mattia Balzano. And where now it's just going to go right back at the feet of Flagler. Balzano almost getting the ball back, but Flagler making a counterattack. And there was some contact at midfield. Liam Fish going down for Flagler, holding his knee right around midfield. See if athletic trainers come onto the field. Liam Fish, the assist leader for Flagler, gets up back up on his own feet. North Georgia's goalkeeper, Hazel Lay, is at the midfield point. Going to kick this one deep, right outside the far corner of the box, and it's going to be headed out of bounds. So we're 15 minutes into this matchup, and if you're just joining us, North Georgia got a goal within the first 2.5 minutes of this one, with Michael Walsh scoring the goal and Aram Laura on the assist, putting North Georgia up 1-0 over Flagler. And that's where we currently sit with 30 minutes to go in the first half. This one thrown into inside the box, and looks like a foul was called. Ball rolled into towards the back of the goal, but whistles were called. Ryan Rivas kicking this one over to Mark Birkland. Now back over to Marcus Hedeman. Hedeman on the counterattack for Flagler. And nice block by Elwin Asiedu inside the box. Put his head in that one. Prevents a goal opportunity for Flagler. Ball bouncing inside the box. Dave Viena gets this one over to Vitelli, who's at midfield. Where's Santiago Cano? Flagler regains possession. Flagler on the near side of the field, immediately taken by Dave Vienna, and North Georgia almost on a counterattack, but looks like whistles were called. Looks like penalty's going to be, or the foul is going to go against North Georgia. Or excuse me, it's going to go against Flagler. L1 Asiedu in the backfield for North Georgia. Passed over back to Hazel Lay. Lay kicking this one over to midfield. Met by the head of Tyler Vitelli. And it looks like Flagler is making a counterattack. That one almost put in for a Flagler player to come in and possibly head that one in, but ultimately gets met by a couple of Nighthawks. Max Gottwald in the far side of the field for the Saints. And a foul going to go against North Georgia. Looks like that was Paige Sinclair on the far side of the pitch. Now ball back in play over to Marcus Hedeman. Now back over to Paul Hansen. Hansen tried to almost get this one to Luke Williams, but is unsuccessful. North Georgia on a counterattack. Tyler Vitelli passing this one over to the near side to Max Garnett. Garnett is going to be immediately met by Max Gottwald right at the box line. And now back into possession with North Georgia. Aram Laura passing it over to Garnett. Garnett trying to get inside the box, but is tripped up by Liam Fish. And Flagler on with the counterattack. Jackson Carilla kicking this one into North Georgia territory, but is immediately met by Alejandro de Viena. Now passed over to Aram Laura, back to Elwin Asiedu. Now over to Walsh. And ball rolls out of bounds. Ball's going to be thrown in by Camilo Vera. It's immediately met by Harrison Wright. And that ball rolls right out of bounds. Max Garnett trying to take care of an opportunity. Not many Flagler players down and near the box, and Tyler Vitelli was there, but was met immediately by a couple of Saint players. Toby McCallum coming onto the pitch for Flagler. He's coming in for Liam Fish. Liam Fish got wrapped up about 7 minutes ago on a play, but seems to be okay. Owen getting this one over to Max Garnett. Garnett going to try to get the crosser to Vitelli. Still North Georgia, and that one's going to sail right out of bounds. It's over in the direction of Harrison Wright. North Georgia up 1-0 over Flagler. Ryan Rivas. Passing on one over to Max Gottwald. Over to Hedelman. That one met up by a couple of Nighthawks inside the box, and North Georgia gets the ball out of there. Jackson Carilla. That ball's going to sail right out of bounds.
Stepping on for Flagler, number 14, Toby McCollum.
Looking like this will be a corner kick for Flagler. Got 22 minutes left to go in this half. Kick inside the box. Met by nobody, and ball rolls outside the box. Camilo Vera. Ball now going towards midfield, where it's going to be met by Paige Sinclair. Now in the feet of Toby McCollum. Toby McCollum stepping on the pitch for Liam Fish. Elwin Asiedu. Over to Marcus Hedeman. Hedeman back over to McCollum. McCollum is going to get into the back of the net. And Flagler finds the equalizer, and they tie this one up at 1. Flagler responding about 20 minutes after North Georgia got their first goal of the game.
Flagler goal by number 14, Toby McCollum. The new score here at the UNG soccer field at Lynn Cottrell Park is North Georgia 1, Flagler 1.
Now, at the 21-minute mark, Flagler tying this one up. The goal by Toby McCollum. And that'll be Toby's second goal of the season for the Saints. And that'll be the 5th different Saint player to get a goal for the Saints this year. And it's the 5th different Saint to score multiple goals in a season. Joining the ranks of Liam Fish, Paul Hansen, Max Gottwald, and Marcus Hedeman. This one now back in the box as North Georgia trying to regain their 20-minute lead they had over Flagler. Is really the possession has really flipped since North Georgia got that goal, as a lot of action has been on the North Georgia side of things. Wanasi Edu kicking that one immediately meets a Flagler player. It hits him right in the faces. Looks like Flagler trying to make a counterattack deep into North Georgia territory. And that ball is going to sail way over the goal. Looks like that Flagler player that got hit in the face was
Georgia, number 11, Mikkel Prince.
Axel Nolgren. Seems to be okay. Was touching his face a lot. Hazelay kicking this one deep. Over to midfield, immediately met by Jackson Carilla. Now over in the direction of Hedeman. Hedeman over Mark Birkland. Birkland dancing off Prince. Now over to Toby McCollum. Ball over at midfield. Max Garnett gets tripped up. Whistle's called. Looks like there's going to be a yellow card coming out. North Georgia not able to find anything there. Aram Laura kicking this one deep inside the box. Immediately met up by a couple Saints players. Back over to Elwin Asiedu. Now over into the direction of Harrison Wright. Wright nearly protects that ball from getting out of bounds. And Santiago Cano was there. Alejandro De Viena. Now Walsh kicking this one over in the area of Vitelli. Vitelli, and now back into the feet of Laura. De Viena kicking this one to the far side of the field to Paige Sinclair. Whistle called, and it's going against Flagler. De Viena. It's going to be met by Ryan Rivas. Looking to be a throw in for North Georgia. Should be immediately met by a couple of North Georgia players. Now ball rolling back to Laura. Laura kicking this one back inside the box. And the ball is going to roll out of bounds. Morgan Miller and Philip Sparvek coming in for Flagler.
Stepping on for Flagler. Number 3, Morgan Miller. And number 11, Philip Sparvek.
Ball now over in the feet of Paul Hansen around midfield, battling against Aram Laura. Now over to Toby McCollum. Axel Nolgren was over there as well for Flagler. Back over to McCollum. McCollum, that one goes way over the crossbar. And game still tied at 1. Ball back out to Osiedu. Daviana getting this one over past the midfield point, but the ball's just going to roll right out of bounds, and it'll be back in the possession of the Saints. Now ball rolling deep into North Georgia territory. That was going to be met by the feet of Marcus Hedeman, and that ball sails way over the goal. So they'll kick this one to Laura, back over to Osiedu. Osiedu over to Walsh. Walsh kicking this one deep. Well, looked like it would have been towards Tyler Vitelli, but gets met up by a Flagler player. That one kicked deep. Walsh over there for North Georgia. Walsh kicking this one over to Wright. Wright over to Kano. Osiedu. Now over to Paige Sinclair's. North Georgia works out of their own territory. Mikhail Prince. That one's going to go out of bounds, but still North Georgia ball. Daviana going to throw it in for North Georgia. Daviana throwing it in short to Prince, where the ball is just going to go right back out of bounds. Looks like it's going to be out of bounds on Flagler. Daviana back in there to throw it in for North Georgia. Daviana throwing it into the near side of the field, where now the ball works inside the box, but is eventually just going to get met by Ryan Rivas. Now ball back into North Georgia possession. Hazel Lay back there for North Georgia. Lay working outside the box, kicking this one over midfield. And Flagler trying to make a counterattack out of all of this. Osiedu battling it out with Sparvek. Daviana trying to make something happen. Laura back to Daviana. Daviana over to Walsh. It's going to be thrown in right over by midfield. Whistle's called. So we reach under 10 minutes to go in this first half. Michael Walsh getting the first goal for North Georgia in the 43rd minute. And then it was tied up in the 21st minute by Saints player Toby McCollum. This one's going to go back over to Lay. Lay trying to work out of a jam. Gets it over to Laura. Dave Vienna kicking this one to the far side of the field to Mikhail Prince. Prince over to Sinclair. Sinclair trying to get this one back inside the box for North Georgia. Back to Dave Vienna. Back to Laura. And now over to Harrison Wright. Wright to Max Garnett. Wright's going to throw this one in for North Georgia. And North Georgia's going to make a substitution. Looks like Tyler Vitelli's going to come off for North Georgia. And Miguel Romero coming on the field for North Georgia. Right. Passing this one over to Walsh. Walsh to Dave Vienna. Dave Vienna to Paige Sinclair. Sinclair to Romero. And it looks like there's going to be a foul against Flagler. Now North Georgia trying to make something out of this happen. Max Garnett there for North Georgia, and it's going to get blocked by Ryan Rivas. But an excellent opportunity was there for North Georgia, but ultimately gets blocked as North Georgia could have taken a 2-1 lead there with some open space. There was only Max Garnett and Ryan Rivas, but Rivas coming up and making a big-time block for the Saints. Corner kick for North Georgia, where it eventually will go right outside the box. Now to the back of Dave Vienna. Dave Vienna setting this one inside the box, and Max Garnett trying to possibly head that one in, but immediately Rivas was there. Now Flagler on the counterattack. Paul Hansen. And now it's going to be a North Georgia throw-in. Kano right over there, met by a lot of Flagler players, and now Flagler on the counterattack. Hedeman driving down towards the goal. Now over to Paul Hansen. Hansen going to kick this one, and it's going to go way over the top of the goal. And North Georgia gets another stop.
Stepping on for Flagler, number 8, Jesse Van Krimpen.
Reach under 5 minutes to go in this first half. Game tied at 1. Bryant Properties, a commercial real estate brokerage firm that specializes in commercial real estate along the Georgia 400 corridor, is a proud partner of North Georgia Athletics. Looks like a North Georgia player going down, but getting right back up on his feet. Looks like it was Santiago Cano. Flagler trying to make something. Back into the feet of Aram Laura. Santiago Cano deep down field for North Georgia. Laura trying to get there for North Georgia. Laura dancing off a couple of Flagler defenders, but the ball is going to get kicked out of bounds. So we get set in, and it's going to be met by a couple of Flagler players. Paige Sinclair trying to battle it out with Philip Sparvek. And now Flagler on a counterattack. Got less than 3 minutes to go. Game tied at 1 in the first half. And that one's going to be a nice block by Harrison Wright. Ball's going to go out of bounds at North Georgia, but Flagler making a charge into Nighthawk territory. That ball going to get kicked out of bounds by Jackson Carilla. North Georgia trying to make something happen. Deep into Flagler territory. Ball rolls out of bounds. Under 2 minutes to go in this first half. Loic Gunn stepping on for North Georgia. Stepping on for Max Garnett.
Number 6, Loic Gunn.
Minute 25 left to go in this first half. Whistle called. Looks like it's a foul against Flagler.
1 minute. 1 minute remaining.
So we hit 1 minute to go left in this first half. North Georgia trying to regain their lead. Loic Gunn deep into Flagler territory for North Georgia. Ball going to land right out of bounds. It's going to be a Flagler throw-in with 30 seconds left to go. Ball thrown right back in. Whistle's called. It's going to be a foul against North Georgia. This one kicked off deep.
8, 7, 6,
It's set by Dave Vienna.
4,
Paige Sinclair.
2, 1.
And we will reach halftime with the score of North Georgia 1, Flagler 1. North Georgia getting a scoring opportunity early in the first half, and Flagler coming around the 20-minute mark of the first half. We're going to take you to halftime, and we'll be back more after this commercial break. Flagler 1, North Georgia 1 at halftime. We'll be back after this commercial break.
I'm here.
You've got a lot of reasons to be here. That's why we're here at Georgia Heart Institute, where advanced heart attack treatments save more hearts than anywhere in Georgia.
My baby girl is home!
Georgia Heart Institute.
Since 2007, we've seen an explosion in popularity of superhero movies in the last decade. Rayner argues that superhero films offer an escape from the boredom many of us feel with our lives. We love the epic. We want epic lives. There's a tension you're going to face as you celebrate, walk out of this door, and you go to Monday and you say, what's next? And more importantly, how do I live a superhero life? John Gordon, he's a best-selling author on leadership. This is what he says. There's a myth about success, graduates. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. One that says it's all about you. But here's the truth. You're not a real success unless you're helping others be successful. That's the greatest self-growth strategy of all time. The more you help others grow and improve, you grow and improve. Focus on others. It's not about you. And you'll find something even greater than success. Graduates, you'll find significance. But remember, in all of this, there's a tension. How do I live a superhero life? Enter the epic by being bold. Your family, your community, our state, and our nation are all counting on you. Graduates, today we celebrate you. We celebrate your hard work. We celebrate your diligence. We celebrate your commitment. And I am so incredibly proud of you.
You can't really get an idea of how another country runs their military till you go abroad.
It was cool to see their outlook on just life in general. To be there as a global ambassador is definitely a life-changing experience.
I participated in the Management College National Defense University Cadet Exchange. That is located in Taipei, Taiwan.
So I participated in study abroad internship in country of Georgia. The program I participated in was the Swiss Summer Mountaineering course. The experience was extremely professional. There were people from different militaries across the world. I was training with soldiers that were once our adversaries. It's fun to notice the importance of diplomatic relations and also civil affairs through the military.
The host school was always really going out of their way to help us get the full cultural experience because we were, in their eyes, only going to be there for 5 months.
They drove us out and we hiked to a glacier. That was unique, especially coming from Tennessee. There's no ice walls to climb. Their native language of Georgian was very difficult. However, at the end, I gave a little speech in Georgian, thanking their academy. It was an eye-opening experience. One thing I learned in Switzerland was to try and enjoy everything that you're doing, no matter how challenging it is.
Being able to see the country of your target language in person and really living day to day can move your passion to continue learning the language that much further.
All the conferences, all the internship, and all the exchange programs will help you as you develop, not just as a soldier, but also as a person. I think everybody in the Corps should study abroad because it will develop them so much.
If you have a free semester, it's the perfect time to explore a country. There's really not much holding you back in terms of whether or not you should go. It's a great experience.
I got extremely valuable training and just an overall incredible life experience that I wouldn't have gotten going to any other school. And it was the opportunity of a lifetime.
My wife's family is full of medical professionals, including lots of nurses. The more they talk to me about nursing, the more I realize there are so many different opportunities within the field of nursing. You can constantly continue growing, continue learning, which was something that really drew me to it. I was really attracted to the accelerated program at UNG for a couple reasons. One, I heard that UNG, like everything I've heard about UNG's nursing program is incredible. I have a couple friends who have been through it in recent years and had just spoke very highly of it. Just everything I've seen online, spoken about it, it's just a very reputable program. So UNG was already a pretty clear choice for me. And then seeing the opportunity to do an accelerated program, it was kind of a no-brainer. Honestly, I get to graduate earlier, and one of the things that appealed to me the most actually was that most of our clinical rotations are at Northeast Georgia Medical Center. I am really thankful for the faculty that are specifically dedicated to the ABSN program here. This faculty, they really want to see us succeed in this program and be the best nurses we can possibly be.
From the moment you know where you are headed, it starts a journey that you will never forget. For those who seek a higher calling, to serve something bigger than themselves and take the path less traveled, UNG awaits to prepare you for your leadership pathway. Once you're here, you will be challenged and developed, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Freshman Recruit Orientation Group, or Frog Week, is the first step of the UNG journey. The commitment, the attitude, the effort, and the resilience take shape as you move forward on a pathway that most will never attempt.
Y'all got 2 minutes to change into OCPs. Time now. Let's go. Move it. Move it.
It is a process that teaches you about yourself and makes you better than you were yesterday. At times, it can be a struggle, but it's also an investment in yourself. Like life, it can create moments of doubt. You learn about yourself and your strengths and weaknesses. You share this journey with the men and women to your left and right, establishing lifelong bonds with the understanding that nothing worth having ever comes easy. But through adversity, you build strength, determination, and the desire to never quit. Frog Week will establish a foundation to build upon, strengthen you physically and mentally, and start shaping you into the leader you came here to be. For cadets at the University of North Georgia, they take the road less traveled, avoid taking the easy way out, and develop instrumental values that will prepare them for a life of service and leadership. Some people talk about it, others are about it.
Back with you here at the UNG soccer field at Lynn Cottrell Park, where score is 1-1 Flagler and North Georgia. As North Georgia was able to get an opportunity goal very early on in the game at the minute 50 mark by Michael Walsh, and it was assisted by Aram Laura. And then about 20 minutes later was followed up with Toby McCollum for Flagler. And that is currently where we stand, tied 1-1 going into the second half. North Georgia having that early lead, and North Georgia looking for their first win against Flagler since 2019. Let's take a look at the stats of the first half. Flagler had 5 shots compared to North Georgia's 2. Both of them tied at 1 for shot on goals. The Flaglers had 3 corners, North Georgia 2. And a yellow card was issued to Flagler in the first half. And Flagler, on the season, when you look at the Peach Belt statistics, leads the Peach Belt in a couple of categories. They lead them in fouls with 217 fouls. 45 yellow cards on the season so far, also leading the Peach Belt. And Flagler averaging the most in the Peach Belt with 3.21 yellow cards a game in the Peach Belt Conference. As mentioned, North Georgia trying to get their first win against Flagler since the 2019 season. Now, this will be a key win for North Georgia as well, with how the Peach Belt has shaped up over the past month or so. North Georgia sitting with a 4-2-2 record currently in the Peach Belt Conference, and North Georgia sitting right next to Flagler in the Peach Belt. North Georgia sitting third, Flagler sitting fourth at 3-3-2. North Georgia wins this one. They're going to advance, or they're going to keep their position at third place. Flagler will stay the same. Flagler wins, they'll go up to the third spot, jumping North Georgia in the standings. But we take a look at the Peach Belt scoreboard. You see the games going on for today. There's going to be 3 games. Only 2 of them are going to be Peach Belt Conference games. You got the first game, Mars Hill versus USC Aiken. That is a non-Peach Belt matchup. We got North Georgia and Flagler, as they are currently tied at 1 apiece. And then later tonight in Americus, Georgia, Lander's going to be taking on Georgia Southwestern. Now, here's a key thing. North Georgia, if they win, they'll go to 5-2-2. And Lander, if they lose to Georgia Southwestern, they'll fall to 5-2-2. And North Georgia, one of those 2 ties in the Peach Belt, actually comes against Lander. And that'll be their final opponent of the season. Today is the last home game for North Georgia. As we're tied up at 1 apiece going into this one. As we're waiting the second half to get underway. As I was mentioning earlier, one of those ties coming against Lander, and if North Georgia, they'll either be sitting third or second, depending on that result, if North Georgia goes on to win this matchup against Flagler. And when you look at the overall Peach Belt Conference standings, if some of the results went in the direction of North Georgia's way, North Georgia could have had a real possibility of sitting at the top of the Peach Belt standings and could have possibly won the Peach Belt regular season title. So we get the second half underway here at the UNG soccer field at Lynn Cottrell Park. A lot of people in the stands today, as it is Gold Rush weekend here in Dahlonega, the annual festival, and one of Dahlonaga's biggest events that they have going on throughout the year in downtown. They have the streets shut down, and a lot of people, a lot of tourists coming up to the historic downtown Dahlonega area. Also, another reason stands are packed today, it's senior day here at UNG, at the UNG soccer field for the men's soccer team. And a couple of seniors honored in today's game. Marvin Rodas, Garrett Lyles, Mattia Balzano, Paige Sinclair, David Zions, Elwin Asiedu, Michael Walsh, all being honored during pregame today and the Senior Day festivities. A lot of key components of the North Georgia Nighthawk squad that you see out pretty much in every game, and even currently on the field, make up a lot of that Senior Day list. That one's going to get headed inside the box by Michael Walsh. This game's tied at 1-1 North Georgia and Flagler. That one's going to go right out of bounds. It's going to be a throw-in for North Georgia. Elwin Asiedu in the backfield. Asiedu getting this one over to Dave Vienna. North Georgia trying to get out of their own territory. Miguel Romero on the counterattack for North Georgia's got some open field ahead of him. Now met up by a couple of Flagler players and eventually gets tripped down. Looks like a foul is going to be called against Flagler. Looks like we're going to have Aram Laura on the kick for North Georgia. It's an opportune goal kick for North Georgia. Actually going to be Paige Sinclair. Sinclair going to try to get that one in there, but it is going to land up right in the hands of Ryan Rivas. And now Flagler on a counterattack, and that ball's going to roll right out of bounds, but it's going to go against North Georgia. Under 40 minutes to go. And this one.
Just like talking about like their road schedule too. Like they've already played all their road games, which is good. And like they've been awesome all year. Basically, we're just talking about Hawks, man.
Axel Nolgren. Back over into the midfield area for North Georgia. Could have been a possible attack by Miguel Romero, but ended up right back in the possession of Flagler. And Paige Sinclair on the far side of the field. It looks like it's going to be an issued yellow card to Paige Sinclair. Can't quite see who the player was for Flagler that got tripped up, but Paige Sinclair tripping up a player gets North Georgia's first yellow of the day.
Yellow card issued to number 14, Paige Sinclair for North Georgia.
North Georgia trying to get this one, get their first goal since the 1 minute mark of today's game. Ball inside the box. Now it's going to kick right outside of the box, back over to midfield. Now North Georgia on a counterattack. Ball in the feet of Laura. Now back over to Miguel Romero. Romero dancing off a Flagler player is going to kick this one way over the fence, and a attempted goal attempt from Romero goes way over the intended goal. Romero frustrated that one didn't go any lower. Now Paige Sinclair back in it for North Georgia. Romero getting this one over to Vitelli. Vitelli over to Sinclair. Vitelli still's got it. He's going to try and kick that one in, but it's going to get blocked by Rivas. Rivas going to throw this one over to Morgan Miller. Miller now over to Hedelman. Now back over to Paul Hansen. Hansen over to Sparvik. That ball going to bounce. Still in bounds. where it eventually rolls out of bounds against Flagler. By kicking this one over to Asiedu. Laura back to Asiedu. North Georgia trying to get it over into Flagler territory. Now over to Kano. Kano going to pass this one deep with nobody in sight for North Georgia. Looks like whistle's called. Free kick opportunity for North Georgia. It's going to bounce off the head of Paige Sinclair, and it's going to go right back in the feet of Flagler. Flagler's trying to make a counterattack. So all got to get stopped up by, looks like Harrison Wright on the far side of the field. And that one's going to get kicked out of bounds. That'll be against North Georgia. River City Bank is a proud partner of North Georgia Athletics. Their personal banking products were designed with your unique needs in mind and proudly serve the Rome, Blairsville, and Dawsonville communities. Check out River City Bank in your community.
Stepping on for North Georgia, number 18, Mattia Balzano. Thank you.
Now North Georgia trying to get an opportunity on a goal here. This one going to sail deep inside the box, but Rivas there for the Saints.
That was huge. They were down a couple starters in that game. Yeah. So you can see they got a bunch of red cards in the game against Flagler. And it's just a little, like, you know, definitely a good revenge game.
This ball going to be thrown in by Morgan Miller. Now over into the possession of Asiedu as he's trying to battle that one out with Hedeman.
Stepping on for Flagler, number 14, Toby McCollum.
Toby McCollum got the goal earlier for Flagler, and this one stepping back out onto the pitch for the Saints. North Georgia trying to work some magic. Try to make a charge downfield. Miguel Romero looks like on the far side of the field for North Georgia, trying to sail that one in, but it's going to go way over the top of the net. That one thrown in for North Georgia, trying to make an opportunity of a fast break, but they're not going to as the ball rolls out of bounds. Miguel Romero on the far side for North Georgia. This one's going to get kicked deep by Rivas. A Flagler player gets tripped up on the far side of the field. Looked like it could have been a Ram Laura. Or it looks like that could have been Tyler Vitelli over there for North Georgia. That one headed by Osiedu. Foul called. It looks like it might have been a... Looks like it was against Flagler. Dave Vienna. Get this one to Osiedu. Dave Vienna. Kicking it back over to Walsh. And that one's going to sail right out of bounds. Ball rolling back inside the box. North Georgia trying to make a defensive stop. But the moment they do, and they're going to set up a counterattack. It's like either Max Garnett or Tyler Vitelli. Max Garnett goes down on the field on the far side of the field, holding his right shoulder. Gets back up. Ball back into play. Siedu over to Walsh. Daviana, North Georgia trying to work out of their own territory. Laura getting this one over into St. territory now. He's going to pass it back to Osiedu. Osiedu over to Vitelli. Vitelli trying to make something happen here is going to get blocked by a couple of Flagler players. This one's going to be passed deep where Daviana is there to meet the ball. And that one's going to sail out of bounds. Looks like Philip Sparvek is coming back out onto the pitch for Flagler.
Stepping on for Flagler, number 11, Philip Sparvek.
Santiago Cano. And the North Georgia player is down. It looks like clock is going to stop. Can't quite see who the Nighthawk is on the far side of the field. Santiago Cano is over there for North Georgia. Looks like it's Max Garnett that was the Nighthawk down on the field. So we've got 25:47 left to go. Garnett was on the far side of the field about 5 minutes ago, went down, came right back up, was hugging his left shoulder. Not sure if it's the same thing. It's going to be a throw in for North Georgia. North Georgia trying to make something happen. Ball was in open space. And now whistles are going to be called. Flagler player goes down. But they're going to get right back up. Looks like it was Filip Sparovec. Kick opportunity for Flagler. Asiedu kicking this one over to Vitelli. Now over to Balzano. Asiedu to Walsh. Tied at 1-1, under 25 minutes left to go in this one. Walsh getting the early goal for North Georgia. Toby McCollum getting the equalizer for Flagler late in the first half. Tyler Vitelli getting tripped up by Liam Fish. Flagler marching down North Georgia. And now North Georgia back out on a counterattack. Back over to Garnett on the far side of the field. Garnett charging down Flagler. And that one's going to be hit out of bounds. Now Flagler trying to make a deep charge into North Georgia territory as they are on a big-time counterattack. Inside the box. So some Flagler players are calling for a penalty. No penalty there against Michael Walsh. He's got 23 minutes left to go in this match. Looks like Jesse Van Krimpen has stepped back out onto the pitch for the Saints. It's going to be a corner kick for them right here with 20:35 left to go. Kick is up there, and it's met immediately by Max Garnett inside the box. And now Romero kicking this one into Flagler territory as North Georgia was attempting to make a deep counterattack against them, but is eventually just going to land up at the feet of Rivas. North Georgia trying to make something happen here, and the ball's just going to roll right out of bounds. Chick-fil-A of Dahlonega is the presenting sponsor of the Nighthawk of the Week Award and a proud partner of North Georgia Athletics. If you're looking for great food nearby, it's Chick-fil-A's pleasure to serve you. Reach the 21 minutes left to go in the game. North Georgia on the season so far has posted a 5-0-1 record. And that tie coming against Lander back on October 4th. North Georgia can pull off the win or tie the game today. They'll remain undefeated at home for the 2023 soccer season for them. North Georgia trying to make a counterattack. Garnett on the far side for North Georgia, trying to work out of a jam. Gets this one over to Kano. This one going to get kicked inside the box, but it's going to be immediately met by a Flagler player. And there's going to be a recovery by Aram Laura, but that one hitting the far goalpost. North Georgia unable to capitalize. So you have under 20 minutes left to go in this tied matchup. Flagler on a counterattack, trying to get this one in for their second goal of the day. North Georgia trying to make a charge downfield. This one goes over to Hazel Lay. Lay going to kick this one over to Walsh. Ball nearly goes out of bounds. North Georgia trying to make a counterattack. This one over to Max Garnett on the far side. Santiago Cano. Now Flagler back out on the counterattack. Foul called. Looks like it's going to go against North Georgia. Jitterbug Party Rentals, a trusted partner for all your inflatables and event rental needs, is a proud sponsor of North Georgia Athletics. Their mission is to provide an easy, safe, clean, and professional rental experience to the North Georgia area. Check out Jitterbug Party Rentals. This ball's over back to Osiedu, North Georgia, trying to make something happen with the game tied at 1 with 16 and a half minutes to go in this contest. Balzano. Going to get this one back in. It's going to go over to Laura. Laura over to right. Now, Flagler on a deep counter attack. It looks like there's going to be a foul that goes against North Georgia. Corner kick for Flagler. He's going to get kicked inside the box where it's immediately going to be met by the head of Michael Walsh. And now North Georgia trying to make a counter attack. Mattia Balzano is going to pass this one over the middle to Aram Laura. Laura traveling deep downfield. He's going to pass this one to Tyler Vitelli where it's going to be a one-on-one situation. And looks like they're going to call offsides on Vitelli. And what could have been a very good opportunity for North Georgia to get their second goal of the game and retake the lead. Marcus Hedeman trying to get that one into for Flagler, but it's going to be met by a couple of Nighthawks inside the box. Hedeman bouncing this one up in the air where it's going to be met into the feet of Balzano. Balzano passing it to Laura. Laura over to Max Garnett on the far side of the field. Garnett going to get tripped up, and Flagler on the counter attack. Now back over to Jesse Van Krimpen. Krimpen. Van Krimpen going to try to get that one in for, that was Miles Shanley trying to get that one in for Flagler, but Hazel Lay there for the block. Lay going to roll this one over to Asiedu. Over to Daviena. Daviena back over to Walsh. Walsh kicking this one deep. Over to Max Garnett. Max Garnett able to head that one in, but that ball is just going to roll right out of bounds. Should be a corner kick for North Georgia. Walsh going to kick this one in, and it's going to be headed by a Flagler player. Now Laura. Laura kicking this one inside the box where looked like Max Garnett was on the attempted header, but goes just right over his head, and Flagler will regain possession. Rains Grading and Hauling, a commercial and residential grading and hauling company located in Dahlonega, is a proud sponsor of North Georgia Athletics. That ball's going to sail right out of bounds as we have 11 and a half minutes to go in this contest between Flagler and North Georgia.
Stepping on from Flagler, number 9, Paul Hansen. Number 13,
If you're just joining us, Michael Walsh getting a goal within the first 2 minutes of this one. And then it was followed up by Toby McCollum getting the equalizer for Flagler at the 22-minute mark of the first half. And since then, we've been tied at 1 apiece, as we've now got 10 and a half minutes to go in this matchup. North Georgia looking for their first win against Flagler since the 2019 season. Their last win coming against Flagler, October 5th, 2019. Now North Georgia trying to make something happen. Over to Vitelli, where it's going to be kicked away by Max Gottwald. Looks like Santiago Cano very upset on the far side of the field as looks like there's a foul that goes against North Georgia. Flagler trying to make an attempt at the goal where it's going to be intercepted by Mattia Balzano as North Georgia tries to take their counterattack deep down the field. Now over to Vitelli. Vitelli over to Romero. Romero. Ball is going to go roll out of bounds. Now Vitelli inside the box for North Georgia trying to make something happen, but Rivas is going to scoop up the ball for Flagler. Now we have under about 9 minutes to go in this second half. North Georgia on the counterattack. Passing over to Balzano. Balzano going to try and get that one in, but it's going to be blocked by Rivas. Now, North Georgia trying to make a counterattack. Osiedu over to Cano. Cano over to Tyler Vitelli on the near side of the field. Vitelli getting inside the box for North Georgia. Balzano dancing around a couple Flagler defenders. Back out to Laura. Laura over to Romero on the far side of the field, and it's headed up in the air, and it'll be land right out of bounds. And North Georgia looking like we're going to get a throw in. Looks like it's Miguel Romero on the far side for North Georgia, as we got 7:40 left to go in the second half. North Georgia looking for their first goal since the minute 50 mark of this game. It's like Balzano's going to kick this one in. Goes inside the box, and it's going to get in! Miguel Romero puts North Georgia back out front for the first time since the first half. North Georgia now leading this one 2-1 with 7:17 left to go in this first half, in this second half. Romero earlier in the game had a couple of goal opportunities for North Georgia. Very frustrated with himself early on, but now gets the goal that puts North Georgia out in front deep in the second half.
North Georgia goal by number 21, Miguel Romero.
North Georgia putting up their late goal, and thanks to Miguel Romero. So we got 7:15 left to go in this matchup. North Georgia out front 2-1 over Flagler. North Georgia looking for their first win since October of 2019 against Flagler College. North Georgia trying to make another run into Flagler territory. Max Garnett on the near side of the field for North Georgia. It's going to be a throw-in for North Georgia. That one's going to go try and go inside the box. But Rivas was there to meet him.
Stepping on for North Georgia, number 29, Max Garnett.
Garnett back out on the field. Looks like a Flagler player going down. Luke Williams. So we reach under 6 minutes left to go in this matchup. We each have 5.5 minutes to go. And if you're just joining us, North Georgia putting up their first goal at the 1 minute and 50-second mark of the first half. Michael Walsh with the assist by Aram Laura. And then Flagler with an equalizer at the 23-minute mark. Flagler at the 23-minute mark had Toby McCollum get that goal for them as it was tied 1-1. And it's been tied 1-1 up until about 7.5 minutes to go in the second half, until just about 2 minutes ago, where Miguel Romero put North Georgia out front 2-1. There's currently a Flagler player down on the far side of the field near North Georgia's sideline. Can't really see looks like it's Axel Nolgren. He's walking up.
Stepping on for North Georgia, number 22, Marvin Roda.
Marvin Roda stepping on for North Georgia. Stepping on for Santiago Cano. 5:20 left to go in this one. It's going to be a throw-in for Flagler. We reach under 5 minutes to go.
Stepping on for Flagler, number 22, Camilo Vera. Miguel Romero.
North Georgia looking to remain undefeated at home. If they go on to win this game, they will have a record of 6-0-1 at home. Also by winning this game, this will be North Georgia's first victory in men's soccer against Flagler since October 5th, 2019. That game played right here in Dahlonega, where they won 2-0 over Flagler College. Rivas kicking this one deep for Flagler. North Georgia players over there to meet them. Garnett on the near side for North Georgia, trying to make something out of a counter attack. Now back over to Asiedu. Tyler Vitelli over there by midfield for North Georgia. Now over to right. This one's going to get kicked deep, where Tyler Vitelli is over there. A little bit of holding action by Jackson Carilla. That one's going to be headed in with a dangerous opportunity and a nice kick block by Marvin Rodas inside the box, preventing Flagler from tying this one up. So we've got 2:43 left to go in this one. North Georgia up 2-1 over Flagler. That one, corner kick, going to just sail right out of bounds. So you got 2:30 left to go in this one. Clock is stopped at 2:24. This will be a throw-in for North Georgia. Looks like there's going to be a corner kick opportunity for Flagler. That one's going to be immediately headed by a North Georgia player, and that one's going to be a big shot towards the goal by Camilo Vera, but sails way out of bounds. So we got another stoppage in time. Hazel Lay. That one's over at the midfield point. Flagler looking to get another equalizer. Couple of slides by North Georgia players. Max Garnett getting tripped up.
1 minute. 1 minute remaining.
So we got 1 minute left to go in this one. As Lay kicks this one deep into Flagler territory. Rivas trying to make something as we got 38 seconds left to go in this one. Ball going to go right out of bounds. Doesn't get called out of bounds. Now does. And that's going to go against Flagler. Garnett throwing this one in. As we have 14 seconds left to go in this one.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And North Georgia is going to come up with the victory. 2-1 over Flagler as Miguel Romero pulls it off with 7 minutes left to go in the matchup to put North Georgia up 2-1 as North Georgia beats Flagler. And North Georgia has been undefeated at home, and this is their final home game of the season as they improved to 6-0-1 on the season at home. And a pretty impressive record for them at home, being undefeated with 6 wins and only 1 tie. And North Georgia overall will improve their record to 8-5-2, and then 6-2 or 5-2-2 inside the conference, as Flagler will fall to 3-4-2 in the conference and 4-7-4 overall. This is North Georgia's first win against Flagler since October 5th of 2019. So North Georgia men's soccer team picking up their first win against Flagler in 4 years. Your final score, 2-1, North Georgia victorious over Flagler. A reminder, North Georgia women's soccer team is going to be in matchup in just a little bit. So they're going to be taking on the Bobcats of Georgia College State University, and you're going to want to stay tuned to the Nighthawk Sports Network for that one, as Robert DiClemente and Abby Crane will be on the call for that one, and it's going to be a good one for sure, as North Georgia is currently tied at the top position in the Peach Belt Conference standings with Columbus State. If North Georgia can continue to win in the women's soccer Peach Belt Conference, they could potentially become the regular season champions in the Peach Belt if the wins keep on coming for the women's soccer team. North Georgia taking on GCSU coming up very shortly right here on the Nighthawk Sports Network, so stay tuned for that one. Your final score here once again, North Georgia men's soccer wins 2-1 over Flagler. I'm Devin Kupka saying so long from Dahlonega. Stay tuned to the Nighthawk Sports Network. UNG versus GCSU coming up soon.